Yeah, sure. We can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, I think we'll just roll into it. This is just a character building thing, right?
Right.
So we won't treat it as like a regular...
Or the full open and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to kind of give you guys a little bit more... I'm not sure if you've already worked on this or whatnot, but, what I had envisioned here is basically, you can, of course, just level your character. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to make any significant changes. But I also wanted to give an opportunity right before the end of this run of Drifters to kind of go through and change some things, like if you wanted to change your feats or change your class features you selected. I would even allow, you guys can change some class levels you took or ability scores. So, I think that the game has wound up being, very skill dependent. Like there's a lot of skill challenges. The starship combat winds up involving a lot of skills, stuff like that. And probably has had less just regular, D&D style combat. So that might make a impact on your decisions. And I'm happy to go through and talk to each of you about it, and we can go over stuff together, however you guys want to go.
So you're totally cool if we add another class into our system. Like I've been mechanic for 7 levels. Yeah. If I wanted to say, I want to add the soldier class in, you'd be cool with that. Okay.
Absolutely. And it would just reflect, maybe Bob's become a little bit more martial over time. And that's okay.
He does have the epaulets, so.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy to start with whoever. If people already have thoughts, that's great. I've also been kind of looking through character classes and features and stuff like that, so I have some ideas as well.
Yeah, I mean, I already talked with Kevin. The main thing I am doing is actually swapping my dex and my int to give myself some extra skill points at the cost of some AC and initiative.
So you're going to be smarter?
I'm going to be smarter.
Yeah, that's something that I've considered as well, just because. But I don't know what I would swap, honestly, because I need the con and I need the charisma, so I'll probably
swap out all your intelligence points and put them in wisdom.
Well, it's up to you, but there's a lot of different angles we can take. So let's maybe. Do we want to do this kind of one person at a time, and then we can all chat as we're going?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's start with Rodrigo, because you were just talking. So yeah, I've got your sheet up here, and I see, int 10, wisdom 19, charisma 15, and then your physicals are 10, 14, 12. So an idea would be, I mean, you do come across as pretty reasonably wise, but you're also pretty charismatic. So you could, like, Mystic doesn't care what your casting ability score is of the mental stats. So if you wanted to, I would certainly allow you to swap that to charisma if you want and make that your primary stat. But that has a downside with it, of course, as well. So.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it the way it is. It's like wisdom gives you some extra stuff, especially mysticism being based off of it. So I wouldn't want to drop that.
The other thing you could do is, I know, like, Dex, your armor class is already not that high. I mean,
that's true.
It's fine, but it's not great. I would be a little bit worried about dropping it. But I don't think you guys have run into serious hit point concerns that much. So the difference between a 12 con and a 10 con, I don't think is that big, and it would net you an extra skill.
That's true. I might do that.
Yeah. I've kept my con as high as it is because I am the one person that takes all the hit point damage.
The other thing, this is actually kind of similar, going to Matthew, you are very, very tough, like exceptionally tough. And you can feel free to keep it that way, but it seems to me like you might benefit more from some extra skill points than you do from those extra hit points that I don't think have really ever come up.
Yeah, I can see that. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Let's see. So if I were to like move something.
Yeah, you could swap like your con and your int, for instance.
Let's see how that looks. Wait, would that make me smarter, or would that make me dumber?
It would make you smarter.
I should be smarter. So my int is 13 and my con is 18. So if I have an 18 int and a 13 con, what does that do to my modifiers?
Well, they just swap. See how you have a modifier of +4 for con on your sheet and an int modifier of 1?
Math is hard.
Well, it's not even math. It's literally just switching the two.
Oh. Okay.
An 18 con? This whole time? Why is Vangie tanking stuff?
That is a question that has come up in my head, but I've never actually said it. Here's the thing, Kevin, and I want you to, first of all, be vaguely proud of me because I set aside today at work to make sure that I would have the character sheet ready and I would know and I would be ready. And then my boss walked up to me at 9 p.m. and I got a case of sudden trainee, which is a strange illness that I get every 6 or 8 months. So I didn't do any of that. But if we swap Constitution to 13, Intelligence to 18, it looks like all of my ability scores are switching with them. Maybe?
If you have a form, yeah.
So the one thing that we would need to fix, I don't know that it auto-calculates your hit points, like hit points and skill and stamina points, but we can figure that out.
Right now, hit points are 46. That's still my level 7. So.
Oh yeah, and you're leveling. So yeah, actually, in general, I think if you're not sure and you don't have a great int, having a higher int is great because it gives you more skills, which come up a lot. Going back to Rodrigo, did you want to change any of your spells?
Not really. So the issue with the spells is that there's a lot of... Let me get my spell list up. So at first level, I have like Disguise Self, Command, Reflecting Armor, Detect Thoughts, Lesser Confusion, which is like I have to have that one.
Oh, sure, it's your connection power.
Yeah. Then Inflict Pain as a connection, Remove Condition, Force Blast status, and Mystic Cure. And then at third level, Bestow Curse, Remove Affliction, and I was thinking of getting Dispel Magic, but I wasn't sure. Because it's like, generally speaking, when it's crunch time, one of two things are happening. Either it's a skills challenge kind of thing, which most spells don't interact with, or it's combat, and I can either do a cute trick or deal 40 damage to something. So a lot of the time, it's like, oh, I want to push that guy into the lava. The lava doesn't do as much damage as my brain.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking this through here. Yeah, you've got great single target damage. That's fine. It seems like you might want either spells that work kind of in a
like a narrative sense.
Yeah, in a narrative way, which could also maybe come up in skill stuff, or something that's not single target. Like AoE is still great because as soon as you start multiplying numbers, you can get above 40 pretty quickly.
Sure.
or like, I mean, there's haste is a level 3 mystic spell
Sure.
that's pretty powerful. I think fear is a level 2 mystic spell that is an AoE.
Right.
Because looking through it, looks like you have a lot of. Well, I mean, it's not even your fault. The Mindbreaker just gives you a lot of single target stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like for example, I've had reflecting armor for a while, but it's like if combat starts, it's like if I'm not in like a very immediate bit of danger, then I've got mind thrusts all the way down.
Right.
So, something like like Zone of Truth or like I don't know. Status. Yeah. It's like I think about status and I'm like, status seems like a cool spell to have, but is it ever actually helpful?
Right.
And I think that's just like, that's not your game. That's like the sort of the ethos of these sorts of games in general. Like they're very combat oriented and they're very oriented toward like when you get into like social and mental stuff, the spells are very often, how do we get rid of this aspect of play? Like, can I cast a spell and then not have to talk to someone?
Yeah. Yeah, like there's a spell called Change Attitude that's just, kind of diplomacy the spell.
Right.
I'm going to learn that.
But you're already good at diplomacy, aren't you?
Yeah, but now I can do it magically.
All right. Well, let me know if you want to if you have anything you want to go over on that. Otherwise, I mean, I do think it looks like, Force Blast is a small AoE that also pushes people around, which isn't bad. I kind of like Fear at level 2. Bestow Curse is certainly cool. I think Zone of Truth is cool. Detect Thoughts is great, and you've used it a bunch, so I kind of like that one.
Sure, yeah, I wouldn't change that. I think that one's a very like for a psychic flavored mystic, that's pretty much a must. And there are like Zone of Truth is kind of like something else that's kind of like that.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing is like, well, the problem is like single target stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, I could learn Charm Monster, but it's like, why charm the monster when I can just delete the monster?
Deal 40 damage with my brain.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any thoughts or opinions?
I mean, not thoughts that can damage your brain.
Yeah, I mean, Dispel Magic can be really good in that it can just solve a bunch of problems. It's probably like just one of the most useful spells in the game, in my opinion. I don't know if it'll come up in this, final fight, but if I think they do have some casters on Team Electrum, and Talos is a caster. So like there have definitely been times where we've been messed with by magic that would be useful.
Yeah, the other thing is something like, so spells like Deep Slumber, where it's like you put a number of creatures whose CRs total 8 or less to sleep. It's like, I don't know how the challenge ratings tend to add up. Like, especially if we're like slightly punching above our weight, those like spells that care about challenge rating actually become less good. So,
Clairaudience, Clairvoyance is a fun spell at level 3. That's like, again, kind of like Detect Thoughts. It does what it does very well.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that one. I might end up because I get another level 3 spell, so I might get that one depending on how it works.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
Well, we started on mine.
Yeah, let's do Matthew / Quentin.
Like, so I'm trying to figure out my hit point situation.
Yeah.
So at level 8, we don't get any bonuses to any flibberts. We don't get like ability increases. We don't get a feat or anything. Right?
No, you just get whatever your class gives you. No, nothing else. I mean, you do get hit points and skill points like at every level, but
right. So how many hit points should I get? Because the Archives of Nethys and we have this thing where I tell it words and it says, here are the words you want. And I'm like, no, there's no words in your words.
So I'm like, every level you gain, like under if you are on, like, say, the Envoy page on Archives of Nethys, it says hit points 6, stamina points 6. What that means is you gain that many plus your Constitution modifier.
That's why my Constitution modifier was so good.
Yes. Yeah, so you will essentially gain 3 fewer hit points per level. So right now, let's keep you at level 7 in our minds for doing these calculations, because obviously it'll change when you level. But if you're level 7 and you have an 18 con, you're getting 10 per level.
Right.
And I wonder if your hit points and stamina points are incorrect on here already.
What's that?
Well, I mean, those numbers are lower than 10 per level, right? 10 per level would be 70 at level 7. So, okay, well, that's interesting. So it probably won't even hurt you that bad. So if at level 7, you were getting 6 plus 1 instead, that'd be 7 times 7. That'd be 49. And then you also gain some. Wait. Sorry, I'm summing things up a little too quickly. This game is slightly different. So what I said is accurate for stamina. For hit points, you don't gain your con modifier. You just gain the flat number. So that makes the con difference even less important. So you would have 49 stamina points, and let's see, 6 times 7 is 42. 42 hit points plus Android gives you some. You get some number of hit points from your race, your species at the beginning at level 1. So let's find out what that is.
And basically, we are recalculating based on my new con all the way back.
Yep, because that's how it works. Yep. Right, so you would have
46
hit points.
So same number.
And it looks like 49 stamina points.
That's where the hit comes in, and it's not even that much of a hit.
And then what's funny is, because we're going to level 8, assuming you're just staying with Envoy, you would go back up to 56 stamina points, and your hit point total would actually become 52.
52. Okay. So I can't think of any reason to multi-class unless there's something really super cool, awesome that I could do that, might melt the face of an intergalactic, televangelist.
I mean, to me, like, Quentin feels like an Envoy through and through. Okay. But like you could take, like, if you had an idea for something, go for it. But I kind of agree with you. I don't. Yeah. Also, like, I
once became a bard at like level 30, and it just.
One thing I was thinking of, though, is for your improvisations. So those don't come up all that often, again, because there hasn't been that much traditional combat in the game. And they're kind of weird things where it's like,
yeah, they're esoteric. When the birds fly to Capistrano, give yourself +1 on the left side of every room.
And it's like, could they have come up more? Sure, that's possible, but like, you can't be expected to remember that this is the exact situation where this improvisation is going to come up.
Well, I've been waiting to use Don't Quit, but you have never hit us with the factors from the list. I mean, we've had things that felt like they could have been removed, but they weren't the conditions that I could fix.
All right, well, I'll start throwing conditions around.
Thank you. Just condition it up.
One thing I was thinking you could do,
it's gonna be so soft.
if you wanted to swap out, do you gain an improvisation at this level?
I don't know.
Do.
I don't think so.
At level 8, you do. So you don't even have to swap this out. This is just a possible new improvisation for you. Is called Clever Attack.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why this is kind of a cool one is you already have Clever Feint. And what Clever Attack lets you do is you make an attack and you use Clever Feint at the same time. So it kind of, you have to have Clever Feint in order to take it. It's got a prereq, but that's fine. So that would make it, it's not adding yet another thing you have to remember. It just makes one of your actions like significantly better.
Right. So I wouldn't just be able to knock them off balance. I'd also be able to smack the teeth out of their face and get the Clever Feint bonus.
Yes. So yeah, you can of course look this up. Clever Attack, but it's a standard action. You make a single attack against a target within 60 feet and gain the benefits of Clever Feint, attempting the bluff check as per normal. Apply the effects of Clever Feint before resolving your attack. You have to have Clever Feint. So the other thing is, just looking at your sheet, you very, very reasonably put down kind of like shorthand descriptions of the abilities. Mm-hmm. There's one thing that you don't have listed under Clever Feint that I think is relevant, which is it says at 6th level, you can spend 1 resolve point to treat a failed bluff check for Clever Feint as if it were a success. So what that means is when you do this, you attempt the bluff check. Worst case scenario, it costs you a resolve, which, I don't think anyone's ever run out of resolve in the game.
No. So does resolve go up at a level?
Yeah,
no,
every even level.
Every even level. You're right. It does go up this level.
So this is an even level.
Yeah. So
it goes up 1 point, or does it go up a random amount?
1 point. So I'm always on the lookout for more ways to spend resolve personally, because why not? And that would just mean you make an attack, you get to make your bluff check. Even if you fail the bluff check, you just spend resolve instead. They're flat-footed. They're flat-footed versus you. They're flat-footed against your allies, and you then make your attack roll. So that's a pretty powerful ability, I think.
That is a solid shot. Okay. And I think it follows from what we've been doing, both thematically and in terms of what we've put into the character. I'm good. Of course, I'm an idiot. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, you strike me as fairly sneaky / manipulative in combat.
I'm glad you added that in combat because, for a moment there, I thought it was going to be another episode where we just pick on Matthew.
Oh, is this the episode where we're going to pick on Matthew again?
Isn't that
no, Stephen? Episode? That's called all your episodes.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Just me.
Go for it, Rob.
So the other thing you're going to want to think about, Matthew, and you might want to take a little bit, and we can circle back, is you get a bunch more skills. So, because you're a high skill class, you get 8 plus int mod. So right now you were getting 9 per level, and now you're going to get 12. But the easiest way for me, I was just talking to Sam about this before we started recording. The easiest way that I think about it is just that's the number of skills I have that are maxed. Now you don't have to take those ranks and max every skill, but it's kind of, I like to translate it that way. And then if I choose to break the skill points up into separate skills and have ranks, that's fine. But you already have, it looks like 8 skills that are maxed, and then you took that last set of skill points and split them up amongst a few. So you could, because you're going to level 8, you can just change all those 7 ranks to 8. That's easy. And then you would gain 3 whole additional skills at 8 if you want. And that's not even counting, like, if you want to split those ranks up, you certainly can. It's 24 additional ranks after you've moved like acrobatics, bluff, computers, all those up to 8.
Oh wow! So 24 additional.
Yeah. So
okay.
Things it's up to you what you have a lot of good skills already. And
comes with being a robot.
Yeah, it does. But like, you could, for instance, up engineering, because that sometimes has come up. Like, I think I asked for an engineering check at one point and you're like, but I don't have that. And it's like, well, you could have that now if you want. Piloting to be a backup pilot in certain circumstances, or, knowledge skills, what have you. Or intimidate, because you've got a good charisma mod. But you can take your time and think about those, but I think that's you have a lot of options.
So everything that we bumped up to 8, so that's going to be acrobatics, bluff, the core skills that come with being the envoy. Those are all going to be 15, and those cannot go any higher. Is this correct?
Right. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's right.
Even one that has like the wisdom bonus where it's an 8 plus a 3, I can't put more than 8 ranks.
8 is
anything.
The maximum number of ranks you can have in anything. Yep.
So I could theoretically pick 3 that looked like fun and just max them out.
Absolutely.
Oh, now that has a ring to it.
Yep. That's the easiest way, like I said, and that's how I kind of default to doing it, unless I've got a reason to do something different.
Should I have any ranks in profession? I don't think I do.
If you want to have like profession...
Probably not. It's not really that useful.
No, and it doesn't seem like it would be in any way germane to this game. I was asking if I should have had any, because my brain was thinking that Envoy counted as a profession, but it's actually...
I don't know. I think you use your diplomacy, computers, bluff, all those sorts of... That's kind of your profession in my mind. Plus, you have like the corporate agent theme.
I wish we had moved the int bonus, because my computers and my culture are now actually worth using.
Yeah, they're better. That's true.
Yeah, that's just frustrating.
Yeah,
that is.
There are no con-based skills in the game. So your fortitude save got worse. That's unfortunate.
Wow.
That's the other thing we should change. I'm not sure if the sheet auto does it
sheet
for
auto
you.
did it. Yeah, my fortitude save went from like a 9 to a 3.
But whatever.
Not whatever. That's fine. I just won't get hit.
Oh, and by the way, I don't know, again, if people's sheets are auto-updating, but at level 8, if you are just leveling your class, your good saves went up. So like for Envoy, Matthew, your Ref and Will went from 5 to 6. Your Fort was unchanged. And I think this is a base attack +1 level for literally everyone. Everyone's base attack should go up.
Everyone's base attack. All of them? No, wait. I'm looking at range.
Just your
my base attack is 5 right now, so it should go up to 6.
Yep, and that will be true for melee attack, ranged attack, and thrown attack. It's that BAB column.
I'm just trying to figure out how math works. Yep, and then it auto updates. Oh, thank you, Mr. Carl XL, inventor of the XL.
Cool.
My athletics went to pot. I thought I had good athletics. Maybe I'm thinking of acrobatics.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of acrobatics. You've always been acrobatic, but not that athletic because you're not very strong.
Well, I'm a sphere,
Yeah. All right.
So we have upped the resolve points, the hit points, the stamina points. There's no ability score changes. I have pumped all of the scores that I had at 7 to 8. Attack bonus has gone up. Saving throws have gone up. up and way the hell down. But, what are the odds that Eon Souljet is just going to render me into my component atoms? 3, 4 to 1? Okay. So, could I have 24 to put anywhere in my ranks. So, I'm going to worry about that.
You think about that, and we'll cut over to somebody else. Is anybody thinking of doing something? I'm just curious. Doing something like wacky, like taking levels in a different class.
I was thinking of it. With the soldier, there's some benefits and drawbacks to that. So if I add soldier at the 8th level, it gives me 1 extra hit point and 1 SP higher than I would have if I would have just stuck with mechanic, which would have left me at 6 and 6. So that would give me a 7 and 7 on that. It also gives me a fighting stance, which I was looking at, sharpshooter, which I believe helps with ranged attacks. And I feel like I'm more of a ranged rifle guy anyway.
Yep.
It does take away my 4th mechanic trick, if I stay with soldiers. So that's definitely a disadvantage, but it really doesn't change anything else as far as skill points or anything like that. So it's like, really the only advantage is getting the sharpshooter and the 1 extra HPSP for that level over mechanic. So I don't know if it is truly worth it or not.
What does the sharpshooter do again?
Well, let me add this in really quick.
And then the next question I have is, did you have a mechanic trick in mind?
No,
it's always good to know like what you're really trading off with.
Yeah, I did not have a mechanic trick in mind.
Fair enough.
Let me just add this in because I was just adding and subtracting some stuff. So under soldier, under my fighting style, if I went with sharpshooter, when you make a ranged attack against a target with cover, reduce the AC bonus from cover by 2. You can't use sniper's aim against an enemy with total cover. I don't know if I get all of these things because that was just the 1st level. There's a 5th level, but I wouldn't be at 5th level
get
with
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't. So I would get sniper's aim is about the only thing that I would get out of that.
Okay. So one thing, what I could, I guess, pull up your sheet. I was thinking, what tricks do you currently have? Mechanic.
Yeah, let me. So my current tricks are distracting hack a computer within 30 feet of a foe to distract that foe. Energy shield, 1 until you gain stamina points. Energy shield grants you temporary hit points. And then overload weapon, where as a full action, I can turn a powered weapon like I did in the dinosaur fight into a grenade.
Nice. There's a pretty cool one called Engineer's Eye.
Okay.
That might be worth looking at. Again, I kind of look for ones that are maybe like reactions, or you can spend resolve or something like that, and that one kind of gives you a check in circumstances where if you're within 10 feet of a trapped or malfunctioning machine or computer, you receive a free computer's engineering or perception check as decided by the GM to notice the trap or defect, whether or not you're actively looking. In addition, due to your intimate knowledge of your ship, you receive one of these checks whenever you board your ship to notice if anything is wrong with the ship.
Oh yeah, that'd be good, especially with everybody that's doing.
It's just like you automatically know, or get a check, which with your computer checks probably means you know.
Bob
Let's
steps on
see.
the ship. There's some milk in the fridge that's about to go bad, and there it goes.
So, I can see that being useful. I was just also looking at overclocking to see what that does. You have augmented the performance of your AI for maximum response time. You gain a +2 insight bonus to initiative checks, which would give me a first go, especially, or increase the chances of me going first, especially if we're in a race situation, right? And either you or your drone, if you have one, get a +2 insight bonus to reflex saves.
Sure.
Yeah, Engineer's Eye sounds pretty cool.
That one is a level 8 one, so it would be like the new. You could only take that if you did take.
Yeah, if I took mechanic, yeah. Okay. And then I just have a bunch of. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, are you thinking of making any other big changes, or probably just staying?
No, probably staying. And and when I look at, the sharpshooter, and I only get that one little thing, which is fairly low since it's first level, and we're at level 8. I don't know if it's going to do much, so I'll probably stay with a mechanic. Add in that trick, and then I've got a bunch. I've got a bunch of skill points to spread around, which I will probably dump into piloting, engineering, computers, and maybe medicine and perception as the final 2, just to bring that up, since that was kind of my secondary kind of help if someone gets injured kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally reasonable.
So that's probably what I'm going to spread everything around in.
Okay, cool.
And that should be it. I don't really have anything else to do with this character beyond that.
So I kind of already know that you're sticking soldier, right?
Though I could use some advice on kind of what so I get a feat for soldier this level when I'm thinking of kind of rejiggering things so that using my combat feat for something else potentially. And I've got a few ideas, and I was curious what people thought would be most useful. They're kind of weird. And I also might even swap out some of my other feats that are more, combat-y and niche for some of these weirder ones, considering I think they might maybe come up more. So one is Sky Jockey, which is when you're using a device to fly, which includes magic items, which means it would include my jump jets on my armor upgrades. You move an additional 10. Your speed increases by 10. And then if you're in the pilot role of starship combat, your starship speed increases by 1.
But you will likely not be the pilot. Just
I suppose that's it. There have been times I've hopped in on pilot,
but there have been times, yeah.
Another one. These are all again kind of mostly things for when I hop in on things, because percussive maintenance is once per day. You can re-roll an engineering check to repair, or re-roll an engineering crew action per ship combat. But then on the pure combat side, this one's just really good, which is lunge. I can take a -2 penalty to my AC to increase the reach of my melee attacks by 5 feet, which is good because I have step up and strike, so I can just follow people and opportunity to attack them more. And then the other is this vanilla one, skill synergy, which is choose 2 skills. These skills become class skills for you.
I was going to suggest that one if you didn't have it on your list, because it's basically +3 to 2 skills, and that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I'm more limited by skill points than I am by skills that I want to take. The one skill that I would probably invest in that's not currently a class skill is culture. But I don't even know what the other, say, non-class skill I would take would be. You
pretty much have all of your class skills maxed out.
Yeah, so I've got athletics maxed, piloting maxed, engineering maxed, and then I haven't decided exactly how to distribute things, but I've currently got a decent in survival, medicine, and intimidate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, intimidate it might be worth it to throw it onto intimidate. I think there's been a few situations where we're like, oh yeah, Vangi's scary, and it turns out Vangi's mechanically speaking, not that scary.
It's because it's based on charisma, which is a very
exactly. So throwing in a +3 on that if you want to use that skill. If you don't, then
already a class skill.
Okay, that's never mind.
The issue.
Gotcha.
What were you going to say, Kevin?
Just my thoughts on this. You can make the argument that wisdom is kind of mechanically superior because it affects will saves.
Swap my wisdom and charisma.
But swap your wisdom and charisma. It's not going to make your charisma good, but it won't give you a penalty.
Yeah, that's fair. And I've always played Vangi more as having a wisdom penalty than a charisma penalty.
Yep. My thoughts.
All right, that seems reasonable. I'll do that then, and max out my Oh, what were you gonna say, Rodrigo?
Oh, I wanted to throw something else in, but let's stick with your stuff.
So yeah, I'll do that. And then the question is though, like besides culture, what my other skill for skill synergy even should be.
Oh yeah, what other skill you'd want to take? So soldiers proficiencies. I mean, you
Stealth.
have most of the good ones.
Yeah.
Oh, stealth. That's true.
I'm in heavy armor.
Oh yeah, you're gonna suck at stealth.
Medicine.
That's already a soldier class skill.
Okay. Disguise.
That'd be good, like a big tarp.
Especially since you're getting a bonus to your charisma now.
Yeah, I don't. It just means I don't have a penalty. But I could do diplomacy. I could see that. You know, I mean, I know Quentin's always going to be the best at it, but like Veggie also is sometimes talking.
And you know, you have played.
Or I could do perception. That's all. Well, I know, but now I just gave myself a penalty to it.
Yeah. So here's the other thing: is like the way that skill challenges often work, and one of the reasons I quite like them is that one person being great at it is not sufficient to get you through the skill challenge. If you're in, there'll be times when athletics is applicable, but there'll be times when it isn't. And so like having, typically I like to have like maybe a physical skill, a social skill, and a mental skill that I'm good at. So at least one, but like having a couple options doesn't strike me as bad.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I'll just get really social as part of this weird cosmic respec and do that.
And again, I think you've been playing that into the character anyway, so
yeah, exactly.
It's secretly there. It's just making the universe actually listen to us.
I also think that. Did you take coordinated shot as your level 7 feat?
Yeah, and I think it's worthless, so I was trying to decide what to do with it.
At the very least, lunge is way better than that.
Yeah. All right. So I'll change that for. I'll change coordinated shot for skill synergy, and then take lunge at level 8.
Cool.
I decided to swap my Constitution and Intelligence, so I'll go down to 10 Con and go up to 12 Int.
Nice. What extra skill are you thinking of picking up, or skills?
I've kind of always had a big spread of skills: bluff, culture, diplomacy, disguise, intimidate, mysticism, perception, profession, sense motive, and survival. Like those are all things that I have like at least one skill point in. So I don't think I'm going to pick up anything else. I'm just going to bolster the ones where I only have like a 1 or a 3 or a 2.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
Also this level, my mystic skill connection goes up, so I get a +1 to bluff and intimidate.
Nice. Brian, what are you thinking of doing?
Oh, I don't have anything too fancy. Basically, the only thing I really got to pick is an operative edge or exploit. And honestly, I was just kind of, just because like the narrative appropriateness of it, I was really thinking on getting efficient forager.
That's cool.
Yeah, which lets me use survival in place of life science checks to identify things, and I can move my full speed to live off the land and provide food for a bunch of different people should that ever come up. But yeah, it's just one of those
fairly unlikely to come up, but
no, unlikely at this point. But yeah, it's fitting for the character. And one of the things.
We're fighting a literal god of money. We could be abandoned and left just destitute.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be part of your character's story. What happens to them? Nice. Okay.
And really wasn't planning on making any changes. So, other than that, just the bucket of skill points I normally get, largely just keeping all my max skills maxed. And I decided to max out my engineering since I seem to be the main one that's job is to fix things when they start blowing up on the ship.
Yep. Reasonable.
And so I mean, if you have any other thoughts or suggestions, I certainly would be interested in hearing. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much set with that.
Yeah. Let's see, the operative exploits. I mean, I like that one simply because it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are, like, in character and stuff like that. I'm sure there are some that might, come up more. But I'm also not going to yuck your yum. A friend of mine said that, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And evidently, it's something people say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
They
it.
say it when they're going to circle back around to this action point.
No, I've never heard that in a business context. Though the friend who said it helped me come up with the Jabubnin episode.
When you see them, I want you to tell them that Matthew had something for them and just slap them in the face, just as hard as possible.
I'm sure that'll go over well.
Oh,
all right.
Perfectly good.
Last but certainly not least, Rob, how you doing?
Okay. The one change that I would make, I would have to get permission to have my racial ability scores adjusted because it'd be swapping my dex for my wisdom.
Well,
but
let's see here. Hold on a second. Rob, I'm just pulling up your character sheet. Why, Amu? Wait, I don't have Amu at level 7. I think I just have Amu at level 6. In any case, I'll bet your dex and wisdom haven't changed.
Yeah, they were both my dump stats.
They're both your dump stats. Gotcha. But you take a penalty from...
Yeah, I have a racial -2 to my dex.
Fair enough. There is, by the way, after we, made your character, there's a different species called Copoxy. They didn't exist at the time we started this game, but they are coral. They're anthropomorphic coral colonies.
They stole my idea.
Yep. So they do have slightly different. They do have slightly different ability score mods and other abilities, but I don't know that you'd want to switch to them. They're +2 con and charisma and -2 wisdom. The issue with that is they're not +2 int the way Recreachi is, and int I know is your primary score. So,
well, I also picked up things because of other Recreachi racial abilities.
Yeah,
the fact that I do any sort of grappling is because the Recreachi have the bonus to grappling.
Yep.
And,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be a bit more involved in tweaking everything than
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's I just thought I wanted to tell you about that simply because I found it amusing that they eventually came up with the idea you had.
Like our audience won't stand for it. They'll be like, Amu now sounds like Brain Coral, but I'm pretty sure he was Digitate Coral before.
Did you have an idea of what you were going to take for your level 8 theorem?
So there's 8th level. I actually unlock a number of other theorems.
Yep.
The improved treat condition seems less like I doubt we're gonna get frightened or nauseated all that often. I was thinking either Trank Dart or Stable Biohacks.
I mean, Trank Dart does seem very
Amu.
Amu. Yeah,
it's like we're gonna take out
it gives you
an
a
enemy.
combat ability that doesn't kill people. So like that's
Exactly. Stable Biohacks seemed really helpful for us constantly splitting everybody up, though.
Yep. That is also not bad. If you want one that is, perhaps a little zanier or Cronenberg-y, depending on how you want to think about it. Yeah, elongation mutation is.
Do it.
Where's that from?
But it gives you extra long arms because actually now I'm immediately. Okay
it would give you extra long limbs that become elastic and capable of stretching to a great distance. The creature increases its reach by 5 feet for like rounds equal to like 4 rounds. It's with a booster. It's any booster you successfully use on yourself or an ally. And it's from Galactic Magic, but on Archives of Nethys, it's just listed there. Elongation mutation. But I'm also totally down for Trank Dart, or whatever you choose. But Trank Dart seems very Amu. Elongation mutation, you would make a friend out of Vangie, I'm sure.
To go to the...
Vangie just want us to take all of Amu's drugs.
Amu will happily provide. Like that is our relationship.
You're my pusher.
Elongation mutation, what's your station? Reaching for monsters and creeping out children.
Yeah, because that's not in the SRD one, so...
It's in Archives of Nethys.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Archives of Nethys seems better than whatever the other...
theorems.
Yeah, you have to just search for theorems separately. That's one thing I don't like about Archives of Nethys is like, I'm looking at Envoy. Let me see Envoy improvisations. Oh, you can't get there from here. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, the primary class feature? Of course I wouldn't want to be able to look at that.
It was under, it was a link under Biohacker.
Am I incompetent? Maybe I'm incompetent. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Biohacker, and then it's got main details, blah, 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 and then theorems is the last link.
All right. We don't need to keep going on about it.
Yeah, I feel like you do just have to kind of figure out where things are.
Yeah, it's very much meant to be. It's like it's a database. It's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are bits about it that are pretty awkward. And Starfinder doesn't help.
No.
They're like, I have this thing that lets me what is it called? I have a thing that lets me demoralize an opponent as a move action.
Right.
I'm like, okay, show me demoralize. Okay, to demoralize, you need to make an intimidate check. I'm like, okay, what happens? It's like the enemy gets this status, and it's like, and the status is like shaken or something like that. And I'm like, why isn't this just called inflict shaken? Right? Why do I have to look through 3 different things to figure out what? Because then I have to go look up what shaken is.
Well, so the best.
We know it's not stirred.
Yeah. Stirring people, that would be diplomacy.
Right.
The best online SRD I've used was just the Pathfinder 1 online SRD.
That was a work of art.
everything is hyperlinked to everything. You can get anywhere from anywhere. It's really nice.
Yeah, the original Pathfinder SRD is just amazing. So I may actually be changing a theorem or two now that I am aware that there's a bunch more out there, and I can do crazy stuff instead of be very straightforward.
Sure, do crazy stuff.
That makes sense. Biohacker is a relatively new class, so it probably got more support in later books.
Yeah, because one of the normal ones is morphine hack.
Oh God.
Morphine or morphing?
Morphing, actually.
Like my Power Rangers.
It's
the one that you want, Matthew.
Well, I might want both. I mean, I've
I
had
don't
a
know.
hard day.
All that kicking and punching, it's hard on your back.
That's fair. You've developed a special hybrid biohack that can physically transform a creature.
I mean, that also sounds great. I don't think polymorphing people is against your code of ethics, right?
Yeah, I didn't kill them. I just turned them into
They are
a
affected
kitten.
by a... Oh.
What did you do, Rob?
My hack is a first level polymorph, or my biohack is a first level polymorph.
Nice.
I can turn Vengi into a giant friggin' monster.
I'm already a giant monster.
As opposed
I can
to
turn Vengi into a gianter friggin' monster.
Yeah, it would actually
just
be
as long as she doesn't lose like traits that she has.
That's fair.
So, you can cast it as cast. You know what I mean. Your biohack would actually be up to level 3 at this level because it improves, which is very cool.
Oh, it's select a single polymorph form according to the guidelines. The spell.
I have to do some research.
Yeah, it would be an explicit thing.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, each time I gain a biohacker level, I can select a new form for this theorem, replacing the old one. Never mind.
Yep.
I can select this theorem multiple times.
You can turn into each one of the creatures you have adopted on the ship.
That's actually pretty good at explaining why we're able to do this suddenly.
Oh yeah, you're harvesting their DNA.
Not creepy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just higher level. It's a shipping container fiend.
Yeah, we'll be able to turn everybody but Vengi into other things, and then everybody else into a Vengi.
Oh.
I would make a great Vengi. I would be like a perfectly cylindrical Vengi with digital fangs.
You'd basically just look like one of those chompers from Mario.
I'd look like a frickin' Funko Pop. That would be fun. Wait, what are the ones with the perfectly round heads? They're not the Funko Pops. They're the other ones.
Mighty Mugs.
And then
Thank you. Man, I don't know.
I've been hanging out with too many weeb folk.
Does anybody remember if your intelligence goes up, do you get more languages?
Yes.
In Octoon Cthulhu, you do.
Yes, because I have
I guess I got one more language.
11 languages.
I don't know how relevant that's going to be, but
I have 6 languages, which is
I will
Rikrichi,
certainly
Common,
say,
and 4
for the
others.
purposes of this game, that you do.
Okay.
Learn some languages, bro. We can have secret language
I
discussions.
may actually have
behind
one more
everybody's
language
back.
I need to pick because I've got Rikrichi, Common, and Aquan.
Well, keep in mind, you also gain a number of languages equal to your ranks and culture. So we'll have like a million
well,
of them.
I just maxed my culture, so that's like,
never mind then. I know a lot of languages.
All right.
Same.
I did not realize that.
How many of us have ranks in culture?
Well,
All of us, I think.
with my operative
Not
specialty,
all.
I have to put ranks in culture every level.
so funny.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I get basically a specialty because of my background in to recall knowledge about entertainment combat through culture checks. So I figured,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I wound up maxing my acrobatics, athletics, culture, diplomacy, engineering, and intimidate. And I've got just a few ranks each in medicine, piloting, and survival.
Great.
I'll no longer be a particularly good backup pilot because my dex took a hit and I pulled a lot of skill points out of it. But I'm now a backup face.
Okay. So heads up to you, Matthew. Backup pilot might be something you will want to consider because there is currently only really one person with that skill in the party.
Yeah, and you already have quite good dex.
Yeah, if I'm looking at my math correctly, I have 6 left because I've been looking at. So I halved. Oh, good Lord! Just slapped me in the face. I had
cut it in half.
Right. I had some ranks of intimidate.
Yep.
So if I pop 6 into there, I can max my intimidate and be the scariest little sphere you ever done see.
Mhm.
And I had ranks of physical science, and I figure I could pop some ranks in physical science and engineering to where maybe I'll be good at other things sometimes. That would leave me, if I put 5 in physical science, 6 in intimidate, 7 in engineering, that would leave me with 6.
How's your piloting?
Literally, right now, if I put 6, it'll be a 13.
Yeah, that seems totally
pretty
solid.
good.
I could get a 20 piloting if I maxed it out.
That's what I'm wondering.
OP.
Is it worth?
It's so good. But here's the thing.
I think Brian's done a really great job as the backup pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Brian,
true.
Are you the backup pilot?
I mean,
I
I could maybe take some of these ranks I put in engineering and instead move them over to pilot.
Well, see, but you're the backup everything.
Yeah,
you're the
that's
backup
kind of
gunner. You're the backup engineer.
Well, but that's the thing is as the backup gunner, those ranks in pilot are good because they're going to be better than his base attack bonus.
I think you just sold me on it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I would say if you really
maybe
need
split the difference, I think I might go an 18 in piloting.
Okay.
If we really need, I can toss a few ranks over into engineering and become the backup engineer.
Well, I'm also a backup engineer. I've got max ranks in it.
Okay.
Wait, who's the primary engineer?
Steven? Yeah.
Bob, I thought.
Yeah, Bob. He's both the primary
is,
pilot and a primary engineer.
Yeah, that's been our issue for a bit.
Is the mechanic?
I think that's why I was
pilot and engineer are both
largely
the same
filling in as the repair person.
Yeah.
I could get an engineering of 15 without breaking a sweat, and that might be worth doing. Just to where you might have somebody for backup. So if I did that, and then Brian can do his thing in piloting.
What are spell amps?
Spell amps are Fender's things that they do to make you much louder.
Somebody was going to do that.
Kevin, what are spell amps?
So
you can turn it up to 11, Rob.
That's why I said Kevin.
12.
They're called
Kevin 11.
Spell ampules. But they're injectable magic. I think they're kind of like potions, basically. But they're injected.
Drugs.
Because this is ampule expertise. You've discovered how to create specialized spell ampules using ingredients in your custom microlab. Your selection of spell amps is limited to a number of spells equal to 3 plus half your biohacker level. These spells must fulfill the requirements for a spell amp. So I'd have to look and see what a spell amp is.
Right. So again, just think of them like a potion. They max out at level 3, I think. Yeah, it looks like they max out at level 3.
I'd be able to prepare 1 second level at level 8.
So yeah, you could basically gain a spell that you could inject yourself or a willing or unconscious creature with.
Okay, that would actually give me something to use resolve points on. I don't use resolve points a lot.
I know, right? I wish there was maybe a reroll or something like that was because then people would burn out of resolve points quickly.
I have so many resolve points.
Yeah, I've got some class features that use resolve points, but they're not even that good. I mean, there's one that reduces the damage I take. That's nice.
So I feel like field dressing I should keep just because that's
very Amu.
It's also just healing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
If something actually cracks into our hit points, I can
right, in this
heal them for
situation,
2d8 plus my
periods.
int.
very little. I only put 2 in there.
Okay. So does anybody have medicine as a backup in case Amu is ever, rendered into their component?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man. All right, I'm going to put 5 ranks in mysticism. I'm going to learn a spell. Just one spell.
But not how that works.
It's got to be a quarter behind your ear. It should work that way, Kevin.
A level in Solarian or something weird.
Can you find Amu's ear?
There you go.
Keep in mind, I'm an envoy. I'll just convince you that whatever I messed with is an ear.
Amu will believe you.
Exactly. And, with my bluff, a lot of people might.
I mean, I've been playing Amu with negative wisdom modifier, so.
Do you think that as we go into the end game, there's any point to me putting some points in disguise so I can be super disguisey? like just a little mustache? Where people are where'd Quentin go? Only this Pringles guy is here.
You would just look like the Pringles,
just like the Pringles guy.
Just the head, just a floating head. You could certainly disguise yourself as another sphere pretty easily. There are a lot of other camera.
It's pretty niche.
We get him a disguise kit, and that disguise kit is just a hard light projector.
Right. Oh. Like a series of hats.
Well, I just imagine him putting a mustache under his display.
Right. Or like Wooly Willy. I have a little magnetic thing that I use to move the pixels around on my face, and it's
that's good. That's good.
Like you guys are talking like Matthew's go-to move at the beginning of a fight isn't pretending he's like a camera.
That's true.
That's true.
That is true.
Like but Kevin's been letting him do that with bluff.
That's true, and I am good at bluff.
Good point, Rodrigo. I've been way too friendly. It's disguise from now on.
But he is a camera.
That's true. I is a camera.
It's not even a bluff.
So I can't. And any one of these that has the little Southern Cross, I can't just throw some ranks in and get powers. Is what you're telling me? So that's a bug.
No, you can. You can throw the ones that have the cross and the form fillable sheet. What that means is you can only roll those if you're trained.
If you have at least one rank in them.
So you have to put ranks in them to roll them.
So I have to. So putting ranks is actually. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like now, for instance, if you have no ranks in life science, which you currently don't have any, and I ask for a life science check, you can't make it. It's just like nope.
Right.
Yep.
Right, and I'm seeing that because the actual score there is just a null rather than...
It's a dash, instead of what you... Yep, exactly. The sheet's clever that way. It also, you as you've seen, is like, for your piloting, at least it was, when you don't have any ranks in it, even though it's a class skill, and it shows that class bonus, it doesn't give you the class bonus because you don't have any ranks.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I'm like,
Yep.
So I'm going to swap out Treat Condition for Prickly Booster.
I think I know what Prickly Booster does, and I love it.
Does it make you grow spikes?
Any booster you success, it gives Vengi spikes.
Sweet.
Any booster, mostly because Vengi is the one I put the boosters on more often than not. Any booster you successfully use on yourself or an ally causes the target's skin to sprout thorny projections for a number of rounds equal to my key ability score modifier, so it will be 4. In addition to the booster's effects, so this is on top of all the normal effects. Any creature who hits the target with a natural attack or unarmed melee attack will take 2d6 piercing damage. Just a spiky ball.
I mean, that can probably go on Skritic too if he needs to close the distance.
Yeah, someone might try to eat him.
That goes on anybody who gets hit with one of my boosters now.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah, this isn't a once per day,
it's
or
there's no
limit. It's just this is now on all of my boosters.
I'm just waiting for Spiky Bob to show up.
I was gonna turn you into a spiked ball.
Nice.
Where could
put
I
you on the
post
end of a chain
something?
and you're just a giant-sized mace.
Where could I post something, Steven? Batcave or something like that?
You can do it in the chat. Just do the pop-out chat.
So yeah, if you go to the
open
top
chat.
right,
I see.
yeah,
Huh?
That is what Fangy will look like.
Yes.
What is it?
A horny toad.
It's a spiky lizard.
Man. Pete got one.
Why can't I
Will
see
she
it?
shoot blood out of her eyes?
Where do you see that?
Oh,
you
don't
hit her
worry.
hard enough.
So go up into the upper corner of the staff voice chat, and there's a little button on the far right that
I
says
see it now.
staff voice.
Open chat.
Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
So for the one I'm actually getting at this level, I still like Trank Dart. That's very Amu.
Yeah, it's great. I agree. It is awesome.
But also giving Vengi Reach seems really useful.
So good.
If you're taking lunge, I mean, now they do stack, which is hilarious. So you could have suddenly enormous reach, but it also might not be necessary.
But yeah, why don't you take Trank Dart just so that way it's something that you can do actively?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It feels very Amu-y to me.
Okay. Trank Dart. There we go. Are there any extra fields of study because of new books?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, so
sure
I should
are.
probably look at that and see if I want to swap out one of those, since I'm aware that others exist now.
I think I found Skritic.
It looks like I could put my piloting and engineering both at 17 total bonus.
That's pretty great.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good.
Genetics, because I have toxicology and genetics.
Yeah, there's anesthesiology, cyber medicine,
Cyber medicine
genetics,
is
immunology, neurochemistry, pharmacology, thaumatopathy. I don't know what that is. And toxicology.
studies the inherent
Thaumatopathy
magic
is
uses
where-
living things.
If anything is frozen, you can walk on it and it will no longer be frozen.
Ooh, I would give something spell resistance.
Huh. You're just looking up the
Cool.
boosters and inhibitors of these
Yeah,
various things.
That's
Yep.
that's all the. Well, because toxicology is like the one that I would probably keep anyways. Because I was
Toxicology is pretty good, and it also feels appropriate.
because I've already got the breakthrough, so it'd just be changing genetics for one of the other ones. Thaumatopathy's pretty decent on the inhibitor part.
So it seems like we're pretty close to wrapping this up. Does anybody have any other questions for me? I mean, you guys can feel free to keep adjusting things a little bit as we go here.
Oh, I'm
I've been
good.
sitting here. I got like 5 points, and I'm sitting here on the Group W bench and wondering, is there anything that it behooves me to have 5 more points, 5 more ranks?
What'd you wind up? Did you wind up maxing Intimidate?
Yes, I bumped Intimidate to 8, so that would cost me 8. I bumped.
Cost you basically
cost me
6.
6.
Right?
Yeah, that would push me to 8. And then
What
I
about stealth?
did. My stealth is already maxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
About your
Because stealth
bluff.
is a fish. That's
Yeah,
a
he's got a
class
bunch of them that are maxed, like bluff,
What
computers,
about your
culture,
diplomacy?
Yep,
Diplomacy's
also
maxed.
maxed.
What about your physical science?
I put 5 in physical science, which brings me to 7. I suppose I could just max it. That would leave me with like 4 random points somewhere.
And then
but
did you increase your piloting and your engineering?
I did not increase my piloting. I did increase my engineering and my computers. Well, my computers maxed itself out when we resolved my new brain.
What about sense motive? Do you have something in that?
Yeah, it's maxed.
Oh, maxed.
So let's see. If you put 6 in engineering, 6 in physical science, that would leave you with 12 kind of new ranks left over, not counting, keeping all your stuff maxed.
Right.
How many were you putting in engineering?
I put 6 in intimidate. I put 6 in physical science. And I put, I think I put 8 in engineering because I wasn't trained in engineering before, wasn't I?
Well, if you put 4 in piloting, that would still give you a plus 11 pilot. Because
that would actually give me a pilot skill,
Yeah.
And that'd be 24 right there. Beat Borp.
And then you'd have like a 12 engineering and an 11 piloting. So you're a third string pilot and engineer, but that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes that's necessary.
I think sometimes
with this gang I might need it.
Things start breaking. Yeah.
All right. So I've now confused myself with my math. So Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Am I wrong?
I didn't know what this is.
I put 6 in physical science.
Yep.
I put 4 in piloting. Intimidate. 6 in intimidate. That's 16. So I have 8 left. I put 8 in engineering.
There you go.
That's everything.
And this also kind of adds up if you want to think about it this way, Matthew, which is just count the number of skills that you have 8 ranks in.
Right.
Acrobatics, bluff, computers, culture, diplomacy, engineering, intimidate, perception, physical science, sense motive, and stealth.
Yep.
That's 11, right?
That's 11 by 8. Yeah.
Yep. You have 12 total skills that you could have maxed. So that 11 of them you do have maxed, and then that last skills worth is 8 ranks, and I think you've got 4 in pilot, 1 in sleight of hand, and 2 in athletics. So you would actually still have 1 more rank. We're somehow off.
It may be bad math on my part.
How did we get that off? I'm confused.
It is entirely possible that I previously leveled up and added skills and did the math wrong. Because as listeners of Critical Hit will tell you, after 15 years, my math is great, but I also don't necessarily check. So it's often wrong.
Oh, I know why. It wasn't 24 ranks you had to allocate. It was my math that was wrong. It was 24 ranks. It was 25 ranks because it's maxing out all the ones you previously had.
Right.
3 new skills at max, and then we forgot that you had already split up one of your skills to have 2, 2, 2, 1. So that's where the extra rank comes from. It does add up. You're currently correct. If you add like that one, you could up that piloting from 4 to 5, for instance, if you
4 to 5. So give me a pilot of 12. Yep. And then I still want to. I have that 1 in sleight of hand, and I can't remember why.
Well, it's the difference between whether you have a +4 sleight of hand or a +8.
That's what it was. Yeah. See, that was back when I understood my character sheet, and I'm like, I need to not have any skills that I just can't use.
Oh, and actually,
that I just can't
that's
use.
a sleight of hand is one of the trained only ones as well. So it's actually, if you want to attempt it at all, you have to have a rank in it.
Yep. And sometimes I don't actually have hands, but I like to be sleight. Okay.
There you go.
So yeah, numbers looking good. Okay, I'm happy. We don't like to change anything else. And then I did like the clever attack, and I have added the clever feint part that has the super cool thing where we can spend a resolve point to treat a failed bluff check as if it were a success.
Yeah.
So yeah, worst case scenario, if I do the clever feint and we're in combat, if I fail, it's whoever I'm attacking is flat-footed for me. If I spend that resolve point, that enemy is flat-footed for everybody.
Yep.
That gives them what? That gives them what when they're in combat, like a -73?
I think it's a -2.
Yeah,
but
it's still good. It makes my full attack calculus a lot better.
Yeah. So, okay.
No, that is a relevant and good ability.
I have questions on hit point calculation.
They also are can't take reactions, Matthew, which is quite good. Reactions including opportunity attacks.
Oh,
so you can move by them and stuff like that. It's quite cool.
That is an incredibly useful skill that I'm glad that I know about and use correctly.
Rob, you have questions. I have answers. Let's see if they line up.
All right, so the class gives hit points per level just flat, right?
Correct.
All right, so at 6 per level, I should have 48 plus whatever my racial is, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Your racial is 4.
Yes. My calculation currently has me at 44, which is 48 minus my racial.
Well, that doesn't seem right.
I'm assuming I missed
a level?
No, because I'm off by
4,
8.
not... Oh.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I should have 52 hit points. 48 plus the 4 from race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure should.
And then stamina points are just based on class, correct? You were not getting them from anything else?
Incorrect. You get your con mod.
Right. So 6 plus con mod is 9.
Times 8 is 72.
72. Oh my god. I had 59.
Yeah, so wrong.
Somewhere along the lines, I did something wrong. And I don't know what. Resolve points. Do those go where? What's the calculation for those?
Your key ability modifier plus half your level.
Okay, so it should be 4 plus 4 now then. So
That's right.
I should have 3 more resolve points than I did. I feel like I just didn't update these at times.
Yeah,
it happens.
I would say that's yeah.
Yeah, leveling up is in this system is tough. There's like derived values, there's things that go up, but then when you're like, okay, so this went up, let me do the calculation again. And it's like, well, if you're doing your hit points, did you calculate your like race hit points that you get at the very beginning of the game?
Yeah.
Like if not, then your calculation is going to be off, right?
Yep.
But why was it 4 lower than what it would have been if I just didn't add my...
Is it possible that at some point you took damage and like just subtracted from the wrong column?
Both of them said 44.
Right.
Then I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows, man?
72 stamina points makes a lot more sense considering I have a +3 con.
Yep.
How is so I have one. I think I only have saves. How are those calculated?
Yeah, so those
not my saves, but
in general they come from your class, and you get. It's basically you have good saves and bad saves. So at this level, because everyone's single classed, your good save will be +6. Your bad saves will be +2, and then you add their relevant ability score.
I've got those ones. I've got like that. That's the simple part. It's the saves I cause.
Oh, save DCs.
Save DCs. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So usually those are, dictated in the ability. It's going to be like 10 plus.
It's in another window.
So, for instance, like your theorem save DCs are 10 plus 1.5 times your biohacker level. So what would that be here? 12.
Yep.
Plus your key ability score modifier, which is int for you. So it would be
26.
26 for Ethereum, for instance. And usually they should follow the same formula.
10 plus half level plus con mod on the Dragon Gland.
Sure. A little bit
that
lower.
Was wrong. 10 plus half level is 14 plus con mod is 17. Okay. Nope, that one was right. And seeing as the other one was also saying on the Venom Spur was also saying 16, I'm guessing that was calculated correctly as well. Where's the Venom Spur? There's the Venom Spur.
These are from Gear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those you just have to look it up,
This is from Amu turning
same
Amu into more of
calculation
a
for
monster.
Venom
Yeah. Okay, so those ones are actually correct.
Huzzah!
Oh, that's just a regular melee attack. Cool.
All right. Sounds like you guys have leveled.
Yay!
If you want to, you can think about some I don't know, piece of description or flair that has changed as part of traveling through, with the chaos sails.
Bob is a much better pilot.
Well, the average intelligence of the party went way up.
Yeah, there were smart waves in those.
Yeah,
I've learned the secrets of the. What are the things I'm obsessed with now?
The deep angels.
Yeah. They've opened my mind.
Yeah, there was this monolith, and I found this bone, and I was just like, "Hey, now wait a minute! Amazing, you guys."
Is 1.5 times my mystic level 12?
Yes.
What's your mystic level?
8, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is your save DC 26?
For my connection powers, yes.
Brutal.
So, yeah, it's pretty difficult for me to not inflict half the damage that I take.
Yeah, I don't think I could meet that with any of my saves.
Yeah, my spells have a lower save DC.
Yeah, that's based off of like the spell level, right?
Yeah, spell level, yeah.
Yep.
Which makes sense, like the saves that I trigger from my class abilities are much milder than the effects are much milder.
Yeah.
I almost made a terrible joke, and I know even I couldn't do it.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
So we are good to go for next week?
Yes, I think so. And then, so you guys know, if you can feel free to start thinking of this. My plan is to you will there will be some catching up of like you guys just came out of the chaos sales, and there'll be stuff, you have that treasure trove of information from Rain and all that good stuff. But I think and Stephen, let me know if you want to do like, I don't know, a short episode that's that or something like that. I'm not sure how you want to handle it, but we're basically at the point where you guys are going to have to do the planning that you want to do. So I know we talked about doing that as like a patron episode, and then because very soon thereafter it's going to be like basically the not next session but the session after that we'll be getting into the race.
Okay.
Actually, well, almost the race, but like it'll be past the time for you where you guys
It'll be that thing where like the game tells you is like, hey, did you do all the side quests you wanted to do?
Yeah, you don't get to go back anymore.
Make sure you do a save here.
No return.
Do you want to go you want to talk to people like, I don't know, Talus's parents or Big 313 or whoever? Like that'll be the time.
It's It's time for the Lone Wanderer to go up the Arasaka Tower.
Yeah, we'll be after this little. So we did some housekeeping this time. We'll do some planning next time. Then it's gonna be
on critical hit.
All gas, no brakes.
Okay,
full speed ahead. Watch out for Michael
Kevin,
Shannon.
I'll send you my new character sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Rodrigo. Yeah, everybody, please do send me their sheet. Thanks, Stephen.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Will do.
Cool.
This podcast is copyright 2022 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.